That is the classy talent of DJ Williams, Rhythm and Blues, from the YouTube audio library, 75 or lower. You know what? Since I'm a YouTuber coming over to Twitch for some sidecar stuff here and there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add something to the About section. The About section in my Twitch channel is very overdue for some updates and renovations. One of the things I'm going to be doing is putting in a section for YTAL artists that I want to link to from my Twitch channel. Many of the artists on the YouTube audio library that I'm really liking nowadays actually have YouTube channels. They're creators too. So I would love to have some kind of link over to their YouTube channels. And in the case of DJ Williams, his is a little buried and hard to find. So whatever I can direct link, I'm going to do that. So I may actually, you know what? I will do this. I'm going to add DJ Williams to channels I like over on YouTube as well, because he has a bit of an SEO problem. DJ Williams is kind of... I think it's probably because of the DJ thing. Can stand for disc jockey, not necessarily someone whose initials are DJ or something. Maybe he is a DJ, I don't know. But if you look for DJ Williams, there's a couple other channels that take the #1 parking spot in the search results. You really can't find DJ Williams' YouTube channel unless you go to the YouTube audio library and then click the link there. So I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So I will make it a point to plug Mr. Williams' work on both platforms. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. Just check one source here. Make sure I don't get burned by something that, well, I think if it worked on YouTube, it'll work on Twitch as well. Yes, the microphone is set correctly. I am so paranoid from that situation I had earlier where the new webcam's built-in microphone was doing everything, so I sounded like I was from across the room. I go to all the trouble to have a nice setup with a nice microphone, and then Windows 10 installs the webcam's built-in microphone as my default audio device when I plug in the new webcam that's responsible for me not looking so webcam-y anymore. Whatever. I'll leave that Windows problem for Windows people to worry about. So tonight I'm stopping by Twitch just to contribute something to this platform. Since the election results from earlier, Twitch really hasn't impressed me to the point where it'll ever be anything more than a sidecar for me versus YouTube. But I can definitely tell you that in the current DMCA climate, which is gutting the entertainment value of numerous streamers on this platform, this talk radio sounding thing where it's just no background music and just a few DJ Williams tracks or something like that for opening closing, that's the sort of thing that you can expect on this channel for these things. Because let's face it, Twitch soundtrack is just, it removes the music from the VODs after the fact, so there really is no point in using it unless it's something like this where, well, basically what you're seeing now is what the audience checking after the fact is going to see. But again, it's this whole problem with Twitch soundtrack, is that it has created an environment where multi-platform wise, with Twitch versus YouTube versus Facebook, multi-platform creators who know how to use all the platforms correctly as well as square them off against each other are now going to have the most boring part, the most boring version of their content on Twitch. So much to talk about with regards to this, but I guess the overarching theme of everything I want to talk about tonight is this. I'm not fooled by GlitchCon. It's a peacock move. If you know anything about management and the way managers act in companies, then you will know that peacocking is a thing where a manager wants to look like they're doing something about something for whatever reason, to impress customers, to impress higher-ups, to cover their ass because they're not doing well somewhere else. If you hang around managers, you will see peacocking. And that's exactly what this whole GlitchCon thing is. I really don't buy this story they have that, well, you can't have regular TwitchCon, so we wanted to have... No, I mean, GlitchCon 2020 is in the same boat as BlizzCon 2019. There is an overarching problem with the organization hosting the conference, and this problem needs to be addressed. So the question is, how are they going to deflect away from that and distract people away from that via, distract away from a very, very serious issue like how Twitch has lost the fight against the RIAA on DMCA. They lost the waiting game. I'm sorry. The RIAA was able to find a return on investment and develop automated systems to auto DMCA people. That is Twitch losing the arms race. And let's cut the crap with how Twitch in all this correspondence is sounding like they're doing creators a favor by making it easier for you to delete all your stuff. That's a workaround. And as a longtime tech YouTuber like myself will gladly tell you, tech plus workaround equals failure. When you deploy something, it needs to work correctly. Not like 80% work and then you have workarounds for the remaining 20%. Because the workarounds will eat into what made the tech upgrade worth it in the first place. It must work. It absolutely must work. So, get your cold ones ready, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to need them. Let's talk about... I really need to felt bottom the bottom of this thing so I don't destroy the heck out of this little end table desk stand thingy that I have right next to my desk. My desk is a 1980s Interroyal, so it was made in the USA. So, very, very sturdy. Only a couple minor adjustments have had to be made to keep it functional, unlike today's stuff that bows in like 2 years. So, it's heavy, and I don't like that it's cumbersome if I have to move, but I'm kind of hesitant to get rid of it and get things like Technimobility or something along those lines. I like Technimobility stuff, but I question the long-term, the long-term durability of it versus using like a computer cart for occasional use or something. All right. So GlitchCon, as far as I'm concerned, is a peacock move. It looks like a really bad Nickelodeon show from the 90s. But it's a valiant effort. I'm sure that, multimedia-wise, it's definitely something kind of cool and nifty. The problem is that when you have something cool and nifty in the shadow of something big and nasty, it makes you look sus, as the Among Us players would say. I mean, nothing is going to change the fact that Twitch has some very serious fundamental issues that they have to work out regarding DMCA and regarding whether or not they can stay competitive when they are sandwiched between YouTube and Facebook, two competitors that are aggressively growing their streaming presences while also having something else to attract people to the platform besides streaming, which is something Twitch not only comes up short on, but with the DMCA stuff that exists now, there's even less of a reason for people to think any differently of this. There's even less of a reason for that to change. So yesterday over on my YouTube stream, which YouTube's where I do the majority of my streaming nowadays because of unintended consequences, because of something specific to Twitch, the emphasis on concurrent viewers. There is no emphasis on concurrent viewers on YouTube. Therefore, I should stream there, no matter what it is. And what do I do on Twitch? Only what might, and that's a giant question mark because it's not doing it so far, only what might advance me to Twitch affiliate. And that's my only goal. I have zero interest in being a Twitch partner, because if I ever were a Twitch partner, the contract negotiations would be a nightmare, and I'd never sign anything. Because I don't agree with Twitch's emphasis on concurrent viewers. I don't agree with Twitch's emphasis on exclusivity either. The other two platforms have a lot less or none of it, unless you actually sign an explicit contract for exclusivity. There is no equivalent of the Twitch affiliate agreement when you look at the other platforms. So this is the sort of thing that, again, the Twitch Bowl effect, Twitch's strong culture will only take them so far until people smarten up and they see that it's a bunch of nonsense. And there's plenty of Twitch culture in the GlitchCon stream. I've watched a little of it live, but when I tried tuning in earlier with some silly cosplay contest or something, I really don't care about that. What I care about is what the heck is Twitch? I mean, whoop-de-doo. People cosplay on Twitch all the time. You don't need your main conference of the year to have a cosplay contest. This isn't Blizzard. People cosplay all the time. And that's not what all these creators who are stressed right now need to be hearing. These people who are stressed about the state of Twitch need to hear about what this platform is actually doing for them. The new streamers, like myself, who can stream for over 6 months and not get Twitch affiliate because, heaven forbid, we ever have a concurrent viewer on this platform. And whatever investments we make to improve the camera, to improve the gameplay, capture cards, what have you, mean absolutely nothing if nobody freaking watches you. And that's why a long time ago, I made the very serious stylistic choice to not join this culture on Twitch of stalling, aka people that have no clue what they're doing and can't put on a proper show. I don't care if I have like 1 or 2 hour streams that double as like radio shows or something to people. And I'll send them over to YouTube. But just this experience has just gotten worse and worse as I've plodded along. Usually when you get into something like this, you learn stuff and it makes you better and you gain an audience, you do better as a result of that. Twitch is the first platform I've ever gotten involved with where that hasn't gotten me anywhere. I have 2 concurrent viewers. You know who those concurrent viewers are? My stream dashboard, and I have a copy of my stream going to see what the audience sees. Plus, the concurrent counter on the Twitch player is more up to date than what's in OBS. That's my 2 viewers. So whatever concurrence I get, -2 from the number. I can tell you that YouTube is much better because YouTube doesn't have this sort of thing. Nor is there any kind of influence for, you know, creators to do this kind of stuff because there's no emphasis on concurrent viewers. So, I mean, I know I could get Twitch affiliate very easily. All I have to do... Get a phone. Give me a phone. Where's a phone? Unplug. All I have to do is take a phone, buy a data plan for it, which, yeah, I have cheapo phone service because I almost never make phone calls. Take a phone, buy a data plan, that gives another computer another IP address, and run Twitch in like 160p or something on the phone, and have my stream going on this in addition to my computer. That's my 3rd concurrent viewer. Boom, Twitch affiliate. But what happens afterwards? I still don't have an audience. So I could cheese the system and get affiliate anytime I wanted. And if I didn't want to buy an extra data plan to not gobble up the data on my main phone for something like this, I can just have a computer go through a VPN, just show up as some kind of IP address or something other than myself. Boom, 3 viewers. Do that for a month, get Twitch affiliate. Nothing exciting. But I still won't have an audience. I still won't have an audience. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the elitist nonsense. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but that is the elitist reality of Twitch. The haves and the have-nots have an absolute chasm between them. At the very same time that I come on here and do my darndest, whether through commentary like this or through gameplay or through whatever, to get no results, except maybe a lurker every so often. While all that's going on, I get to see big streamers mope and cry and complain because they're stuck. I still only have 5,000 viewers. Why don't I have 10,000 like my friend? Ugh. Twitch streamers, check your privilege if you have an audience. Because this platform doesn't give you one, nor is it in the position to give you one. Let's put those haunting numbers on the screen again. I need to have some kind of link to this so I can bring it up very... I probably should just make a scene in OBS for this sort of thing. Audience ratio. It's the only thing I've mentioned on Twitter here. Audience. I want to see tweets from myself. Thank you very much. There it is. Q3 2020. Twitch's audience ratio is now between 2 titans by over 100 points. Okay, get this on screen. Browser. Avast Secure. Properties. Audience ratio. Here's the ugly reality of Twitch. They brag about the watch hours. They don't talk about how everybody wants to be a Twitch streamer. And they smoke the living daylights out of everybody in hours streamed. This is Q3. Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Q3. These haunting numbers yet again. Not feeling good tonight. These haunting numbers and the brutal reality of why you can't be successful on Twitch. Right here. Get OBS off the darn screen so I can get my pointer back. And click, click. There we go. Just like Mixer, Twitch is failing to attract enough watch hours to offer the same ratio of watch versus streamed as both of their major competitors. YouTube, 134. Facebook, 136. Combine them together because these two aren't stuffy and you can multi-stream, 135 versus Twitch's paltry 23. That's why people don't get anywhere on this platform. And it's also a 2020 thing. I was actually involved in some YouTube comments sections on Creator Insider, a channel I very highly recommend on YouTube, talking about the multimedia meta and what it's like to be a YouTuber. And there's actually some YouTube staff answering questions. I was like, hey, has YouTube enjoyed the kind of explosion in people wanting to be YouTubers, just like many people wanted to become streamers this year? And guys like, yeah, even on the upload side, we're doing really well. Well, see, this is a 2020 thing. So as much as What's-Her-Face, director of marketing on that GlitchCon thing, can talk about this whole thing where, oh yeah, look at all these hours watched stuff, they are very specifically omitting the very important numbers that shoot their argument down. It is sales nonsense, and you need to know how to look past it. And this is how you look past it. You keep an eye on stuff like this. And you also analyze the other platforms, so you can say, yeah, well, one of the problems with YouTube is that YouTube has a lot of automated systems, but I've been thinking about some of the things people have been saying with Twitch DMCA Mageddon. Is it really such a bad thing that that YouTube has too many automated systems when the automated systems are more mature? Let's go back to the browser and go to the main slide infographic from yesterday's discussion. And that is this. And this is the ugly reality right here. We should probably do something. Let's see. Let's actually cut this. Let's actually shrink it down. There. Should be, whoops, that's the overlay. So I want to shrink the browser down. Let's click Avast Secure, and let's shrink that. Let's click Avast Secure and shrink it down. Yeah, who cares? We have a little bit of a blue background here. A little slate gradient here. The problem of Twitch being strikes only, or you know what? We could crop this. We could actually crop this down a little. Let's do that. Make this as big as it'll get, and take out the web browser stuff while we're at it. I talked about strikes only. And this is part of the problem with the whole DMCA thing. Let's make it nice and big. As big as we can get, and just leave it on screen here. This is my main slide from my YouTube stream last night, which, again, no emphasis on concurrence, so it doesn't matter that I don't get views on here. Still not. And this is during the evening hours. The time, oh, there's more people online. There'll be more people that tune in. Nothing is happening. Nothing. So, again, with the whole strikes only thing, Twitch essentially lost the race, the arms race, versus the RIAA. Now, let me say something about the RIAA here as I move a few things around here. Let me tell you a little something about the RIAA. Whoops, there we go. The RIAA is just a bunch of people that are doing their job. We don't need this on screen for that. The RIAA is just a bunch of people that are doing their job. The organization as a business exists to make money for their members. That's what their business model is. By chasing after intellectual property rights like they have with Twitch, which does have a problem with copyright, by chasing after this, they're just doing their jobs. Clients join the RIAA because of what the RIAA can offer them, and one of them is rights management. If they go overboard and they get too aggressive, clients will end their involvement with them or back out of agreements or things like that, or in some way end their business relationship with the RIAA. So it is not the RIAA's best interest to be the lord of destruction, so to speak, to content creators' channels. If there are alternatives to issuing strikes all the time, then they use them. Otherwise, YouTube would be a disaster zone of DMCA, just like Twitch, and Twitch wouldn't look so bad. The truth of the matter is, The majority of the times in more recent years that I've heard about DMCA strikes on YouTube, it's somebody abusing the DMCA to silence criticism or censor somebody. It's not actually like the RIAA doing like what they're doing with automated systems targeting Twitch. Why? Because they have options on YouTube that they don't have on Twitch. Rights holder options besides strikes: mute, block, monetize, and track. And the rights holders can change they can change the policy at any time. And here's what makes this so good on YouTube. Even if your videos are getting blocked, this is an automated thing, so it is not a situation where a YouTuber is being targeted by the record industry. The RIAA didn't actually send an actual takedown notice. What they do for the Content ID system is they submit their works that they want the system to monitor for, and anytime there's a match, a policy is applied. So it's not the case that Sony Music muted someone's video. Sony Music sent some music track into the Content ID system, and they set the policy: if this ever matches, mute. But the fun part is, and I went digging around to find some correspondence to illustrate this, even if your video gets blocked, that is not a copyright strike. And the fun part in today's YouTube is that creators have options if they receive a claim on Content ID. They can mute the audio, they can degrade the bitrate with the music removal tool that's in beta. They can use the cloud editor to edit out the problem segment to their video, and YouTube's cloud editor is more precise than Twitch's highlight creator, as anybody who has seen the Twitch highlights that I sent over to YouTube can tell you. So the highlights and stuff like that I sent over to YouTube, sometimes they're missing a half second or they have an extra half second. So, it'll cut in with me in the middle of a syllable somewhere on the last word I said. I can't get it precise enough for it to display the way I want it to. YouTube, get this, on their cloud editor, has a way to zoom in and make the edit more precise versus the highlight maker. Twitch has incredibly robust tools to export stuff to YouTube. Almost a white flag admission that YouTube's better for videos. And we actually did find out about the official correspondence to partners saying, oh yeah, make YouTube videos for marketing and discoverability purposes. So I think we all know how the pecking order works with this stuff. But this is all stuff that YouTube invested in. And the investment, as far as I'm concerned, is paying off. And we're seeing it with these de facto YouTubers nowadays who are sending VODs over to YouTube, clips over to YouTube, highlights over to YouTube, and seeing for themselves how if you have copyrighted music in a video on YouTube, it doesn't always result in a takedown because these rights holders can mute, block, monetize, or track. So the music companies, the record companies can DMCA you, but why should they if they already have options that'll give similar results without having to invoke federal law, like blocking your video? And they don't have to worry about it. The system is doing the work for them. Or maybe they just want to help themselves to your ad revenue. Bada bing. Oh, you didn't pay a licensing fee. Boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, wait, it's YouTube. Okay, give me your ad revenue. We'll take that. And we'll call it a day. Bingo. And what does Team Purple have in response to this? And what are they trying not to say in their little PR stunt today? That they have nothing. They didn't invest in alternatives, and the RIAA beat them in the arms race. So Twitch streamers, not only are they going to go through what YouTubers went through many years ago, they're going to go through a worse version of it because it's not Twitch running the automated systems that work badly. It's the RIAA or whoever rights holder wants to run these things. And because of the structure of federal law under the DMCA, Twitch has to take things down. And they have to scramble right now to figure out what they're going to do for repeat offenders getting access to this access terminated from Twitch. And if they know what's good for them, being the only platform with a rule that goes this far with banned streamers, they have to look very seriously at their banned streamer rule, because if I was a Twitch partner right now and I knew this kind of stuff, I'm guessing a lot of the big streamers maybe they don't think of this, or maybe they're waiting to jump on this when their contract's up for renewal. I would be ready. I would be booking from Twitch first chance I got. If I was one of the big partners with the exclusivity deals, I'd be on the phone with my lawyer. Is there any way to get out of this contract? Otherwise, when renewal time comes up, I am history. Because I don't want to have an entire streaming platform's clientele officially banned from having anything to do with me because of a policy on the books about banned streamers. Because in my young and dumb days as a 22-year-old streamer, I played some Kanye West on my stream a few times too many and got DMCA banned from the platform. This is all a giant hypothetical, by the way. Streaming was not a thing when I was 22. Nor did I have the internet to even come close to being a live streamer until very, very recently. Bing! Enough of that. Closing my Twitter windows with all this stuff. Twitch DMCA Mageddon. The problem with Twitch being strikes only. The thing that GlitchCon will most likely not address because CEO Shear's keynote kicked the can down the road. Oh yeah, we're going to have a town hall next month. Hey, Mr. Shear, it's November now. So you're meaning to tell me today is November 14th, 2020. You are going to kick the can down the road another month when your content creators are freaking out about DMCA right now. And some of these people are actually having their entertainment value get gutted because they're so used to the way things used to run when people are like, oh yeah, your VODs will just get muted. They're so used to it now that their entertainment value is getting gutted because they can't use music anymore without being worried sick about DMCA. I'm talking IRL streamers completely muting their streams when they walk into a store, and because they have to, and they haven't yet figured out how to do something like a montage mode where they swap in copyright-free music and just go full-on montage when they're inside the store, which would be a great thing for them to do if the mobile streaming platforms will support something like that. Get some copyright-free music or NCS or something like that, and have that montage in and replace the audio when you go somewhere that's playing copyrighted music. You know, that would be the sort of thing they could do, but many of these folks have just been streaming and whatever happens, happens, so they don't think about this stuff. They don't know how to do it. So, this is not a problem for Twitch to take seriously in December of 2020. This is a problem for them to take seriously now. It would not surprise me if I found out that there were partners just itching to drop partnership and leave Twitch, go to YouTube or Facebook, specifically because they figure this stuff out for themselves. I'm a nerd. I think about this stuff a lot. I look at technology when many of the talking heads that talk about this stuff don't. And that's one of the reasons why I talk about stuff like this, that the Harris Hellers and the Devin Nashes, and even the Ashney Christs and Quirky Pixels of the world haven't been talking about. Because I'm a nerd, and I'm looking at the technology side of this, and I'm comparing the platforms to each other tech-wise, and seeing the soft underbelly of Team Purple, so to speak. No, that's... So rights holder options besides strikes, there are none. Although there's the muting system, but it clearly didn't work. I've been watching a lot of... I've been actually, as a hobby on Twitter, I've been retweeting whenever creators are posting their DMCA emails to see what system was cited by the RIAA's DMCA systems. And every time except one was clips. So yeah, people are freaking out about clips, etc. But what's significant about that one and only time that I saw a creator share their DMCA email about how a VOD got them copyright striked is that it shows that the mute system is inadequate. Now, somebody can tell you theoretically that Audible Magic only does so much. when it comes to VOD muting. But what we have here is, in the midst of all this mess, somebody getting copyright strike from the RIAA specifically because of a VOD. That's your hard evidence right there that the mute system isn't going to help you. And that's why, despite the fact that somebody could say, oh yeah, well, Twitch had this mute system all this time, and I even heard it used as an excuse to not care about copyright by some big creators on here, I consider it ineffective, or partially effective, but it didn't cut the mustard because people still shared on Twitter when a VOD gave them a copyright strike despite the muting system. So you put yourself in the shoes of the RIAA. It is your business to make more money for your clients by doing things like protecting their rights online. Intellectual property. You have this platform where an entire culture is blossoming, where people, oh yeah, well your VODs will just get muted. Who cares about copyright? And then they suddenly freak out because, oh, it mattered all along. They were all just wrong about it. And heaven forbid, a highly emotional, sometimes rather immature, popular Twitch streamer have to have a little bit of business sense and think about these kinds of things. Sounds like a stereotype that I've just seen so many big popular Twitch streamers fall into this category. And can you blame a platform where half the audience is 18 to 34? 20% of the audience is teenagers. They skew younger demographics-wise than YouTube does. And that's because more niche, more general purpose. Twitch, more niche. YouTube, more general purpose. So, you're the RIAA and you see that this is a problem. Your business is to protect the rights of your clients, and you see copyright going wild and crazy on Twitch with your client's music. Instead of chasing everything down, especially when, if you read about what the RIAA has done since the infamous lawsuits of the late 2000s, where people got sued for copyright infringement to make an example of them. In 2008, the RIAA started moving away from that, started trying to focus on working more with distribution networks instead of chasing end users. And that's when we started hearing about working with ISPs, the 6 strikes system, things where you'll get banned from internet access with entire companies if you have too much copyright infringement on their platform. Things like that. And so you get to the late 2010s into 2020, and you see a streaming platform very popular with a strong culture and very strong marketing that attracts the highest amount. Let's go back to those audience ratios again. Purple, the highest amounts of hours streamed and the highest amounts of hours watched in the entire industry. How does that not make you want to do something like confront the platform about copyright if you're the RIAA? 47, 41, 205.6 from Q3. Over 100-point difference in the ratios. But still, Twitch is gigantic when it comes to streaming. They have the wrong ratio for anybody to get in on the action, which is why, oh, look, 3 viewers. It only took, what, over a half hour to finally get a concurrent viewer in here? Look at that. On YouTube, I would have seen people coming and going long before this time. Let me bring back the... Yep, just 3. Woo! It took over a half hour streaming just to get one person to show up, and now watch him leave because I said something like this. So, the thing here is, with the whole strikes only thing, it's not what Mr. Scheer said that matters in the keynote speech. It wasn't the email in May that failed. It was Twitch as a platform. Last YouTube stream, I talked about dumping on the creators, which is something platforms do when they're not responsible enough for what they oversee. And instead of addressing things as a platform, maturely, responsibly, and sometimes with the best people that are most competent to handle the situations, like veteran administrators at YouTube who are around this stuff all the time, as opposed to Joe YouTuber who started 2 weeks ago and doesn't know hardly anything about making videos or editing. So, different discussion, but somewhat relevant here. It's not a good idea to dump on the creators because it makes you look irresponsible as a platform, and the creators may not be in the best position to deal with the issue, or they may not be the most competent to deal with the issue, versus the platform's brass and leadership, who should be leading, by the way. So, it wasn't the email that failed on Twitch. It was the lack of investment in tools similar to what YouTube did when they were in the same position. Maybe they'll scramble now, but even if Twitch catches up, we're years out from that. And in terms of investment to make these things happen, Twitch is in a different position under Amazon than YouTube was under Google. So what's interesting, and this is something Zach Bussey was tweeting about over on Twitter, there's an Amazon service that lets you record and share clips of your video games outside of the Twitch, completely outside the Twitch ecosystem. There's this new app they came out with, and it almost looks like a competitor to Twitch that Amazon is running directly. And this is the sort of thing where, actually, I was joking about, someone's been watching Harris Heller because this was his idea for a long time. Use clips to encourage discoverability. But who's going to do that on Twitch now that everybody's freaking out about clips because clips have been targeted by the automated systems that rights holders are using to attack the platform? So here comes Amazon with an app where you record clips and gameplay and share them and things like that completely outside of Twitch. So Zach talks about, is this a beta test and then they're going to bring it to Twitch? Who said Amazon had to bring anything to Twitch? Amazon already has a video platform and they have a streaming platform all on their own. But the streaming platform is more of a competitor to QVC so that Amazon talent can sell stuff via live streams, similar to QVC streaming on YouTube. So it's something they're playing around with. I don't think it's the sort of end-user friendly thing that they would have unless they spun off Twitch and then rolled out a competing service that they ran directly themselves, which, what happens to Twitch then? Who would buy them? I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Twitch did get spun off, just because there isn't enough Amazon to really have Twitch look like a good subsidiary in this respect, and we'll have to see how the DMCA thing pans out, especially with that IT failure where all of this stuff, including, by the way, infringing content that's already been flagged, is still available via those modified URLs. See, here's the thing. When a streamer something gets removed from the end user experience, or the streamer gets DMCA'd or whatever, like what happened with Jake and Bake and the Kanye West clip, if that's still publicly available somewhere, RAAA now turns around and says, you punished your creator, but you're still hosting this copyrighted content that we already sent you a notice for. Why is it still publicly available on a part of the platform that you are running and not your streamer? I wouldn't be surprised if there are lawyers at the RIAA. Oh, there you go. Goodbye. There you go. See? That's the complete inability to grow on Twitch right there. Yep. Bye. The one person who stopped by is now gone. Told you. Of course, I know the science behind this. A concurrent viewer is not the same as a YouTube view. So, the emphasis on concurrent viewers is one of the fundamental problems with Twitch. But that's a different discussion. Very worth making a YouTube video about, though. I may just make more YouTube videos tonight. I don't have much to do in the gaming sphere except to grind a few things in World of Warcraft. So, anyways, I would not be surprised if there's an RIAA lawyer out there who's trying to come up with some kind of case to attack Twitch's safe harbor status, if they haven't already. That's my wild guess. I don't have any information internally with the RIAA or any of that stuff that could actually be anything more than a wild guess. But I think with how it got blown out into the public eye this week, that deleted stuff is still accessible in some area, with some modified URLs through the API and stuff like that. And there's links to Dr. Disrespect in the bathroom stall. There's an Ice Poseidon clip that I've seen. There's a clip where someone got tricked into showing genitalia on stream, stuff that people have gotten banned for, and streamers that have been banned from the platform still have content that can be accessed through some kind of Twitch system. There's got to be something going at the RIAA about that. But that's for Twitch to figure out as a platform, because they already doled out the discipline, and it's on them, it's on the administrators and their engineering teams to make it to where this stuff is no longer publicly visible. If they want to document, it should be on a system that isn't accessible outside the company. How this happened, I don't know. I've been scratching my head about that ever since Devin Nash did the expose on that earlier this week. So, there, see, one person stopped by and they said absolutely nothing and left. That's the new streamer experience and why you can stream for months without getting a Twitch affiliate. Even though you're not a low-quality streamer who can't even manage their camera, can't manage their bitrate, can't get good enough internet, uses Wi-Fi at home instead of the wired part of their network, so they have lag all over the place. Lots of things I've seen affiliate streamers have that I don't. So, but I know it's fundamentally a problem with the platform. Twitch is unique with its emphasis on concurrent viewers. So I actually need to make scenes in OBS to show these graphics because, quite frankly, I've referred to them so many times, I might as well make scenes for them all. So, Twitch lost the arms race versus the RIAA. RIAA came up with it, thought there would be return on investment enough to develop a system and not wait for Twitch. They developed a system and didn't wait for Twitch. So now, you will get flagged by an automated system that can make mistakes, but because the way DMCA operates, Twitch has to comply to maintain safe harbor provision. You will get strikes. You'll have to, and if you fight the strikes with a counter notification, that goes to the justice system. Twitch is not a copyright court. We're not going to adjudicate anything. So what you have with Twitch is a much crappier version of what you have with YouTube nowadays. Because if there's a problem with Content ID, YouTube, if they find out YouTube has openly bragged on their customer service Twitters about if they catch people abusing the Content ID system, they can actually kick someone out of Content ID. Why? Because it's their system. We're not using the DMCA here. It is a YouTube internal system that provides a valuable enough alternative to strikes all the time that rights holders will use one of these 4 options, and content creators have these options to actually fix their videos without having to delete everything. Thumbs up to YouTube's engineers. You know, it's not just a streaming thing either. What's more, but wait, there's more. Not what I talked about in the slide, though. If you have copyrighted music that's detected while you're live streaming, you actually get warned about it and told, fix it or we're taking your stream down on Twitch and on YouTube and Facebook. Versus Twitch, oops, you did something after the fact, DMCA. When you just get past all the marketing hype, all the sales stuff, all the everything, you see over and over and over again the inferiority of the technology with Twitch versus YouTube. There's a couple of things that Twitch does better than YouTube, and there's a couple ideas they have that are cool that YouTube doesn't do, like watch parties and stuff like that. And their take on Twitch soundtrack, despite it being problematic for them in the long run, is unique with 2 sound channels and having audio when you stream, but not after the fact, which is what a lot of these systems are targeting. But anyways, automated systems prone to false positives. You can get those false positives on Twitch, but the experience of getting a false positive under their strikes-only system is going to be worse than getting a false positive under Content ID. Because Twitch cannot do anything about that without putting safe harbor at risk. It's right there in their documentation. And so, the emphasis on deleting everything. We've made it easier to delete your clips. We've made it easier to delete this. We've made it easier to do this. To look at all these nice things we've done for you by making it easier for you to blow away everything on your channel when our competitor, the sleeping giant that's been waking up this year big time, even on streaming, already has so many more options besides deleting your stuff. And you know what? I will freely admit, as a YouTuber myself, that I was fishbowled by YouTube. It's possible. I mean, people get fishbowled by Twitch all the time, but I was fishbowled by YouTube because I was thinking it was still like 2008, 2009, where, oh, if you get a content ID, that can turn into a strike at any moment. Delete your stuff. But that's when, you know, with the latest content ID match, I actually tried the remove song tool, and it did take the claim off at the expense of degrading my bitrate down to sounding like a telephone call. But the point of commentary like this is for people to understand what it is that I'm saying. The music that might be playing in the background is not important. So the degradation with that experiment was not a problem. It just sounded bad for about 3 minutes. And YouTube has shown that they're working on all kinds of things to make even this better. They're not resting on their laurels. There's actually a discussion about the new user experience or someone trying to grow a channel, and basically the thing that makes Twitch so frustrating when you can't grow on Twitch. The YouTube version of that is something the engineers are taking a look at. So, but there you go. Many alternatives to strikes versus strikes only for Twitch. There is nothing that anybody can say at GlitchCon or this town hall they're going to have next month, yay, that is going to get around the fundamental difference between these platforms. And again, if I was a creator, if I was a big Twitch partner right now, I would be looking to get out of this platform. The world needs more Valkyries who go from purple to red. Quite frankly, there is just so much more that red has to offer these days. Assuming you're not listening to outdated information from longtime YouTubers that have just been grumpy about the platform for years. And I know they're out there. I've seen a couple of them. You know, Twitch has a younger demographic. Younger millennials practically run Twitch. Streamer after streamer after streamer with a bazillion concurrents. All these streamers, mid to late 20s, born in like especially 1992. That's such a popular birth year for so many of these huge streamers. The wild cards, formerly Dr. Disrespect was one of them. He's my age. 30s. Anybody who's significantly along in their 30s is more likely to be maybe an OG YouTuber or something like that. And many of the big talking heads that I watch on YouTube, who are longtime YouTubers, are at that point in their life. So yeah, Twitch is a young people platform. Even someone like me in the 30s, someone like me in my 30s, a little too old. The demographics reflect all of this. But at the very same time, I mean, you're not going to see very many big streamers past early 30s. Dr. Disrespect was one of the wild exceptions. But there you go. It's a different world between red and purple. But quite frankly, you got to wonder, if you have a general purpose platform with successful creators in older age groups, how is that not something that Twitch should be freaking out about because of their emphasis on youth? A streamer gets too far past age 30, they start looking to end their involvement on Twitch and move over to YouTube. Because by the time they're getting out of that late 20s to early 30s demographic, YouTube will probably be more established as a streaming platform. Live Control Room, for example, is a huge step forward. Massive. But you know what else is going to come back to bite Twitch in the you-know-what? Let's look at the concurrency. I even sent this thing over to Instagram. Concurrence. Bet any money. If I look at tweets by people I follow, my concurrent showdown is right there. Yeah. There it is. Here is what is necessary to become the first step of monetization on all three of the platforms. The only one with any concurrent viewer thing is Twitch affiliate. And you think about it, Twitch is so insular. It's got this culture, the kappa, the emoticon, the emojis, or excuse me, the emotes as they're called here. You have all this stuff. You have people that say like Monka W in public, and you know that they do a lot of stuff on Twitch. Or even the term VOD. VODs is a Twitch term. They're called videos on YouTube, and they've been called that for years. But here are the requirements to become somebody on these platforms. Twitch affiliate. 50 followers, 8 hours stream time, 7 different days, and 3 concurrent viewers. The only platform with a requirement of concurrence. YouTube partner, the longest period over a 12-month period. I would not be surprised if this time period got changed to something smaller, because they are by far in last place when it comes to the requirements. 1,000 subscribers, that's the equivalent of Twitch followers, by the way, and then 4,000 public watch hours. Now, the fundamental difference between this and concurrent viewers is, even if you are doing terribly on YouTube and you're only getting like 20 views a video like me, you can work your way up to this amount in the span of a year by just making enough content. And because all of those YouTube videos that you make that get a paltry amount of watch hours in the span of a 12-month period, they're not time sensitive, so people can watch them at any time and find enjoyment in them, you gradually build up to being able to become a YouTube partner. You cannot do that with Twitch affiliate. You always have to worry about the concurrent viewers. And so it's going to stress you out when you don't get enough concurrent viewers, because you know that it's going to knock you back in your progression at Twitch affiliate and lead to those desperation posts I see on Twitter from those plug your stream services I watch just to watch this nonsense for myself and get a few laughs at it. All these Twitch streamers, please someone come help me get Twitch affiliate. We're so close. Nobody trying to get established in online media should be having that kind of freak out, especially when they're that new to it. This is exactly the sort of thing that turns people off from content creation, is when they get going and they don't get anywhere and, okay, I guess this isn't for me, bye. When nobody tells them it is just something that Twitch does. And who's going to tell them that Twitch stands alone with this sort of thing? Who? So many Twitch people swear by this platform. I bleed purple, blah, blah, blah. Kappa, pog you. Who's going to tell them that Twitch is exclusive? It's a Morpheus red pill, blue pill thing. You take the blue pill, you wake up in your bed, go on with your life. Take the red pill, you see how deep the rabbit hole goes. It's time for people to wake up from the Matrix. Very good reference there, by the way. But that's the fundamental difference. That's the poison of an emphasis on concurrent viewers. So if you want to be an affiliate only, like me, you're going to be obsessed with 3. Woo, I have 3 right now. Until this person leaves, and I'm back to stressing out because whatever. But you keep at it on YouTube, your efforts and your work will pay off. The question is whether or not you get to skip some rungs on the ladder to 1,000 subs and 4,000 public watch hours. I think seriously YouTube should cut this 12-month requirement down to 3 months or something, because they are embarrassingly huge compared to 1 month and 14 days for Facebook. And here's Facebook. You can get around the real names problem, which fundamentally dogs that platform's ability to be any kind of proper competitor to these two. Privacy issues, basically. And Facebook has had a long reputation for not respecting its users' privacy. Who'd have thunk it? So many times I've seen Facebook features roll out defaulting to the lowest privacy settings. The low point for Facebook for me was all those angry people I saw complaining about their cell phone numbers getting leaked because something came out and exposed all their cell phone numbers all across the platform. Oh, a platform that has had so many consistent problems with privacy now has a problem with privacy on Facebook gaming. Who'd have thunk it? Either way, in just a 14-day period, the shortest, aka, hey, we want to grow. We'll make it easy for you to get established. By the way, if you're a former Mixer streamer, you had a sweetheart deal to skip straight to level up on Facebook. 100 followers, stream for 4 hours in 2 different days, be 18 plus, and have your page be active for 14 days. Bingo. Because streaming on Facebook revolves around a gaming video creator page. Facebook has the easiest to get established, but there are some very serious problems that you might run into if you go barreling off to Facebook because it's the easiest. One of them is the real names thing. The other is if you fall for the way they're selling it. And they're saying, start with your family and friends. That's a major problem. Your family and friends know so much private information about you that they could dox you accidentally very easily. I joke about grandma doxing you. And I say, see your new Facebook streamer, grandma's watching you. Woo! You score like in Rocket League or something. Big play in a Rocket League match. Grandma's like, oh my goodness, you're always such the competitive person. I remember when you were on the track team at blah blah high school. Oh, cool. Whoops, sorry, Grandma, you just leaked personal information. Ugh. But I'm old. I don't understand this internet stuff. I just love seeing my grandson play Rocket League. It's so nice that video games are something you're so good at. Aren't you a sweetie? I'm going to get you a nice big fruitcake for Christmas. Oh, look, we still have people watching. Cool. Whew. Thought I was going off the deep end there. But yeah. But notice what's not even on Facebook. A concurrent viewer emphasis at all. So, you just got to get followers, essentially. Stream enough that people follow you. And what's the thing I say about all three of these platforms? Because of my experience on YouTube, one of the longest running problems I've had on YouTube is the growing gap between subscribers and viewers. I was upset with that for years. Like, my goodness, I have so many subs. Nobody's watching my videos. Because my channel's been around since 2006. That's more than enough time, way more than enough time, to have people leave the platform, lose a password, maybe even pass away, and they're not going to be logging into Twitch anymore, or YouTube anymore. Duh. And this is a pattern I see with any channel that has any amount of years on it. Any channel that's up there in years, has any kind of age to it. Channel that's been around for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, they all have this problem just because people are people. And that's part of what some commentators call analysis paralysis, where you hurt yourself by overthinking something. You think that people are being malicious. In reality, people are just being people. Believe me, people will let you know when they're being malicious. I actually have some goofballs on my YouTube channel that are just disliking everything that I upload. So, like, all of a sudden, boom, 20 videos in the last 3 weeks all have dislikes now where they didn't before. And people wonder why I don't take like-dislike seriously. And but you can't take criticism. You hid the like-dislike counters. No, I know they're useless. Actually, most all of YouTube's systems have unintended consequences. Likes and dislikes are one of them. So who likes a video anymore because they actually like it? No. The YouTuber is just like, hey man, smash that like button. And of course, dislikes give people a weapon to use when they want to be trolls. So, oh yeah, I hate this guy. I'm just going to dislike everything he does. Whatever, man. I'm not even going to watch it. And YouTube is more than capable of fixing this. All they have to do is lock likes and dislikes until you've watched a substantial amount of the video. Just like they lock your view counting as a view until you've watched a substantial amount of the video. Again, dumping on the creators instead of addressing things as a platform. YouTube has the technology to fix this. Will they, is the question. Just like the emphasis on views at all. Supposedly, the emphasis on YouTube has been on watch time since 2013. But why are there still view counters in every single video? How come I can't see that total watch time for this is like 700 hours? Oh yeah, this video is popular. People have like 700 hours of watch time. It's apparently an important thing to YouTube, but not important enough to replace the view counter. But there you go. Emphasis on concurrence, Twitch stands alone. This is not the only thing that Twitch is insular about. But yeah, Twitch culture will only get Twitch so far. So with regards to the GlitchCon thing, I consider it a peacock move. I might check out the town hall, but quite frankly, with the way that Twitch runs things right now, I see no reason why anybody should have Twitch as anything but their sidecar. You got to think about opportunity costs, which is a business thing I talk about all the time. Actually, you know what? Let's see here. Let's get back to this and make it so we can actually see it again. This is actually the unintended consequence of Twitch's strong marketing and their culture. There's people out there that actually brag about Twitch culture. They're usually Twitch people. You know, it's Twitch streamers of some sort. But here's the thing. YouTube has persistently grown. And let's also not forget a very important thing when it comes to these numbers. Streamlabs and Stream Elements are only looking at game streaming, the common ground between all three of these. But what's not being shown here is YouTube has streaming that isn't gaming related. And on YouTube, the more general purpose platform, you'll actually see streaming that isn't popular on Twitch, like streaming without a streamer, like all those like all those wildlife cams. I've been linking to a few of them on Twitter. But that's basically non-personality based streaming. If you like watching, for example, a bunch of dolphins swim around an underwater camera off the coast of Australia, there's probably something on YouTube that's streaming that right now. And I find it interesting, whenever I run into one of just to show the difference between the platforms, I find it always fascinating when I run into these wildlife cameras with more concurrent views than a lot of Twitch streamers. Look, 4,000 people are watching these bears in a national park up in Alaska fish for salmon in a stream next to some waterfall. So, like, YouTube is the sleeping giant. Facebook has some systemic issues, but they're probably going to grow as well, especially with how aggressive they are in trying to establish Facebook gaming as a viable competitor. If they can address their systemic issues, I would say more nice things about them. Because, hey, you know, competition is what makes people want to do better. YouTube kind of coasted for years when nobody really competed with them, but now suddenly they're getting into live streaming and getting a taste of competition. There's a part of the business with live control room and everything where people are trying to make things better and roll it out to the rest of the platform. That gets a thumbs up from me, and all this because of streaming competition. But they're still doing better than Facebook, both in terms of these, but the ratio is still pretty good too. But this is it. This was Q3. I think it might take a quarter or two for DMCA Mageddon to really tank Twitch's numbers if people are like, oh, I'm done with this, I'm leaving. And the next question is, who's going to be left, regardless of what happens at GlitchCon, regardless of what happens at the Town Hall next month? Who's going to be left when more and more people figure this out? You're going to have people that are stuck in contracts, like Twitch's infamous emphasis on exclusivity deals, like the affiliate contract and individually negotiated partner contracts. And you're going to have people that don't know that this is happening. So what kind of content do you think people in these positions are going to create? The big folks who are stuck in contracts are held back creatively because of that. So they're not going to make their best stuff because they got to worry about DMCA. And the people that are about it aren't going to be making good content. So what happens if this pattern continues? Twitch gets more and more boring, not as interesting. While the contracts come up, the big creators go to YouTube, more Valkyries essentially. Or maybe they do a disguised toast and go to Facebook. But the thing is, what we see like this in the quarterlies, as well as the dominance of Twitch with hours watched, it's not going to last forever. And when there isn't this much of a difference in people tuning in or people streaming as there is now, what happens? Because Twitch, as Ninja put it, when he talked about not becoming a YouTube streamer and why he chose Twitch specifically in a press release earlier this week, he said Twitch is streaming. Whatever streaming is, Twitch is. He basically kowtowed to the marketing. That's not a good thing. It is not a good thing that Twitch is streaming, because that means there's nothing else. And with the problems with technology because of DMCA, this isn't getting any better. The best chance that Twitch had to become purple YouTube and have some more parity outside of streaming with its two main competitors nowadays was a couple of years ago, when everybody was able to upload videos on Twitch. Until, of course, like me, you found out that Twitch uploads had no visibility after a certain amount of time, so even the uploads were getting treated like streams and VODs. And there was a press release from a while back when deletion of VODs became a thing, where Twitch talked about how the majority of the people watching VODs will watch in 2 weeks after the broadcast. So the emphasis is on the first 2 weeks, afterwards could be deleted. So Twitch had the opportunity to have more of an emphasis on VODs or after the fact content. They didn't stick with it. They didn't have the support for it, and they didn't have the user base conditioning for it. So now they basically are streams. And with all these paranoid streamers disabling clips, not saving VODs, all this other stuff, they're going to become even more like that. So what happens when the numbers drop? When more people are on red or blue and not on purple? Or, heaven forbid, they become another mixer, and this watched number drops before the streamed number does, and this 23 plummets even more, sending even more of a message: Twitch is not where you go to get established as a streamer. Don't forget, YouTube, you can PC stream right off the bat. There is a subscriber requirement for mobile streaming, but you can start streaming on YouTube as a PC streamer day one. Get verified. I think it requires email verification or something. So, not like the Team Red starter experience is all that bad of one. Team Blue I can't speak for, so I've never streamed on Facebook. Woo! Somebody's getting a last... How warm is it today? Yeah, someone's getting a last-minute Someone's getting a late November motorcycle ride. Or mid-November, I should say. Late season, there we go. Actually, no, that sounded more like a car. Maybe it's one of those folks that saws the muffler off a plastic Saturn or something. Like, oh, I got a fast car now. Look, it's loud. Whatever. So, there is not a thing that GlitchCon is going to do to steer me away from the ugly reality that is Twitch isn't worth being anything more than your sidecar. Or something where there's some Amazon feature like watch parties or something where Twitch is better than everybody else. But in terms of establishing yourself as a content creator, red. Make videos on YouTube. Stream on YouTube as a PC streamer. Or maybe give Facebook a spin if you want to do game streaming because of their fanatical emphasis on gaming over there. But this DMCA thing is not going away, not getting any better. No amount of deflection or peacocking is going to change that. I'm just waiting for the first high-profile examples or hearing about a court case because there weren't enough high-profile examples of streamers getting banned from the platform for DMCA. I mean, it's just part of the culture. And it's part of the culture that is just smashing down on top of everyone's heads right now. I mean, let's be blunt here. I've been frustrated over some things on Twitch that I was frustrated about on early YouTube. In the early days of YouTube, I knew of people using copyrighted music in their YouTube videos, and they always had an edge over me because I wanted to do the right thing, and I was using royalty-free music. That was a thing. Until it wasn't, because there used to be strikes only on YouTube as well. But then when things changed and everything, well, nowadays people just don't want to get demonetized, so they don't use copyrighted music anymore. So... Right. Twitch is where YouTube was a long time ago, but until they developed the tools, and I don't mean making it easier for people to delete all their stuff, they're stuck where they are. There's no point in doing anything on Twitch except for stuff you know can survive in that kind of ecosystem. So what does that do to content? It limits the living daylights out of your creativity, out of what creators can do, out of what creators can make. And who wants to be held back as a creator? Sorry, Mr. Shear. You've got a lot of work to do. And I'm not fooled by any of what goes on at that show you're putting on right now, you and your colleagues, which looks like a bad Nickelodeon show from the 90s. Oh, man. The whole interdimensional GlitchCon thing kind of reminds me of Double Dare or something like that. There's some 90s show I saw as a kid that looked like what these people are doing. Actually, you know what? The two main hosts of GlitchCon kind of remind me of, if you ever seen the footage from that Sega Saturn game that Penn and Teller made that Desert Bus was part of. That's another tangent we don't want to go down right now. So, yeah, I'm not fooled by GlitchCon. I've been barreling along on Twitch for over 6 months, still not a Twitch affiliate, because whoop-de-doo, nobody's watching. Like one person, one lurker might come and go. And you think about it from the perspective of someone who's like, yeah, I want to be good at this stuff. I want to get good at this. And they watch these streamers who grew in a previous era, in a previous ecosystem. And they got the donos going all over the place, the subs going all over the place. And they're the success stories that Twitch lauds, even as the way things work is more along the lines of, I got mine, sucks to be you. One last thing. I think that Twitch really missed the boat with regards to trying to poach away YouTubers. There are Valky Rays who've gone from purple to red, but why don't they let YouTubers just show up and instantly become affiliates? They're already seasoned content creators, and because YouTube has a robust streaming presence nowadays, there is really no point to trying to become a Twitch streamer except to establish a second platform for any YouTuber who gets established enough. If Twitch wanted to be more competitive, why wouldn't they try and get, similar to Mixer people skipping a rung in the ladder going over to Facebook, why wouldn't they try to set something up so that YouTubers had a reason to establish Twitch channels and play around with the other platform? Because YouTube's giving YouTubers plenty of reasons to not leave Team Redland. Where is Team Purple's counter to that? I don't know about you, but I've had enough of seeing talented YouTubers like Logan, one of the guys who's been a fan of my channel for a very long time, stream to nobody playing Mario Sunshine or something. And it's not a low quality stream either. He's got 60 FPS. The stream looks good. He's doing really good commentary. It is basically a Let's Play, essentially, on Twitch. But no viewers. Do you mean to tell me that someone who's an established content creator who screams into the void, essentially, on Twitch should be instantly dismissed and sent back to their platform, like YouTube, as opposed to the brand new Twitch streamer who doesn't even know how to keep their internet stable or keep a good picture on the screen for their audience to look at? Where is the competitiveness? You'd think with all the peacocking going on, there'd be more of this. I'll watch more of GlitchCon, see if maybe they address this somewhere in their breakout sessions. I'll probably watch the VOD, arrow around, skip the parts I don't want to watch, like that cosplay contest. But there's been so many missed opportunities for Twitch to really go after YouTubers. Instead, what we see is a lot of big Twitch streamers came over during the adpocalypses on YouTube. So YouTube failed at something, and Twitch grew because of that. Why does it have to work that way? I can tell you I would do a lot more on this platform if I were an affiliate. But as it stands, I have no motivation whatsoever to even do this when I've been streaming for over 6 months and can't keep 3 concurrent viewers. And I am guaranteed to not stream a lot on here because I won't be streaming at times when I know I won't get concurrent viewers. So you see, this is the Skyrim guard arrow in the knee thing that holds people back. And when you're someone like me who already knows how this stuff works, you're not starting from scratch and making idiot mistakes that brand new content creators make. You'll catch on to this very, very quickly, and you won't have a robust Twitch presence. Even straight gameplay and stuff like that. So, where is anything to try and attract away people from Team Red and Team Blue? Twitch. Where? Anyways, back to being a nobody on Twitch and streaming on YouTube because, quite frankly, it's a completely different world when I don't have to stress out about, I haven't become an affiliate after over 6 months of streaming. Even as their marketing, whatever it is creating a giant alert. Another person became an affiliate. Oh, cool. They brought in 500,000 affiliates in the past year. Yep. Those are probably all people who brought an audience from somewhere else. Instagram fans, family, friends, blah, 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 offline audience, maybe some YouTube fans, whatever. So, but as we see on Reddit, hey, I can still be your friend and not watch your suck-ass 0 viewer stream. Right. Twitch, you have a lot of work to do. Time to stop the peacock games and get to it. Social medias, youtube.com/MultimediaJay, twitter.com/MultimediaJay, twitch.tv/MultimediaJay, twitch.tv/MultimediaJay, and multimediajay.wordpress.com. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.